Welcome back, folks. We had the Dow Industrials finished down 660. NASDAQ was off 202. S&P's off 63. Let's go over to our man, Mr. Basil Chapman, as we do each and every Thursday at 20 past the second hour. Don't forget, folks, Basil has an outstanding show here every trading day, 12 to 1 Eastern Standard Time. Also has a great newsletter, The Opening Call. The way you get the opening call, you can come over to our website at TFNN. And as you're over at TFNN, you're going to go right into newsletters, and you're going to see our man, Mr. Basil Chapman. You can, there we go, right here. You're going to hit the opening call. You're going to view the opening call. You'll hit subscribe, and you can get the opening call, folks, for 1 month, 6 months, a year. All come with a 30-day money-back guarantee of absolutely nothing to lose, everything to gain. Basil Chapman, what's going on?
Hi, Tom. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Yourself?
Very good. Thank you. Wow, quite a market, huh?
It's quite a market. There's no doubt, man. It's fast and furious. No doubt about that, man.
What is very interesting, considering the amount of news that's come out since the 26th of December, with the low in the Dow of 21,712, down 19%, the rally, at least for me, looking at it, going up to the 14-period exponential moving average at 23,381 and then stopping, was impressive for the amount of extra bad news that came out. With Apple last night, and what was interesting yesterday, we were down way over 400 points and it came back strong. It actually closed up on the day. It's as if the buyers are waiting for any excuse to get in, but the tide is just so strong that it keeps wanting to push the market down. Yet with the Apple news, I was kind of impressed. I'm not impressed at the almost 700-point decline, but I am impressed that up until now, which means that the next, I would say 2-3 days are very important. So far, we haven't gone back to the 21,712 area.
Yes.
So to me, it's just at least a sign there's a little light there at the end of the tunnel. But if you look at the weekly chart, the way that we made, was it Monday? God, time's flying. So yesterday was the first day of the trading year. So we made a new recovery high. So that says that we went above the candle of last week in the weekly chart. So it's a good sign. But to think, well, what I said in my show today, my Tiger Technicians Hour at noon, I was talking about it in terms of, and I've said this quite for some time now because it's something that you have to see play out to really believe it, and that is basically we had a rotational move to the upside, and if you look at the way the markets made their highs, remember the Dow made its high back in January a year ago. It went to 26,160. So now what we're looking at is that the Dow essentially took a year to make that recovery high at 26,951 in October. So if you think about it, it's been rotatingly correct. Now, you used to talk a lot about distribution,
right?
And if you look at the yearly chart of the this cup-shaped formation in the monthly chart, you will see that this looks like distribution because it was within a trading range. It barely made a nominal new high. And then it took out the low of 23,344 that was made in April. So I've looked at this as if there's been a rolling series of highs, so a rolling bull market. But we've also seen a rolling correction because if you look at the semiconductors, we've spoken about them for almost a year now. In March, they made the high. And they never got back. If you look, I'm going to put here the New York Stock Exchange. In January, with the Dow last year, the New York Stock Exchange made its high. So that, to me, is the one positive sign that I'm looking at here that says, you can see, there's the 13,635, January of 2018. New York Stock, this is one of the big, broad indexes. This is a very important index. It's made more than a 1-to-1 to the downside if you treat this middle area as a fulcrum, but it's off that high, off the low of 10,723. So if you look at it in that regard, the October high in the Dow and then the QQQ, the NDX 100, made its high in October, a little later, but made it in October. You're looking at this rotation correction on the upside, taking its time on the downside. So if I'm trying to put into perspective the fact that if you were in the wrong area for the last year, if you were in the home builders, if you were in the financials, if you were in oil, you were in not just a bear market, it was a very serious decline.
Yes.
But if you were in the high techs, you thought, hey, this is fantastic. This is, I mean, 3-4 years without a decent correction. Now, what more could you want? Well, what more is the fact that they are now the last ones to have their correction. We've been talking about, I think, for months now, I've been talking about with you about the top NDX 100 stocks, the Amazons, etc., even the Facebooks. They basically have had their bull market. Now they need a decent correction, maybe now more than time than price. So I'm looking at this, and I'm going to, because of this, I decided I would do a workshop coming up on the 23rd of January. It'll be on the front. It should be on the front page of TFNN already, and it's going to be an all-day webinar. We're going to be talking about these patterns and how you can use the MACD and the stochastic to give you sell signals. Remember, I had a sell signal the day after the all-time high in the Dow using these techniques. So I'm having an all-day webinar. It's going to be from 9 until noon Eastern Time on the 23rd of January, and then from 1 o'clock to 4:30. It's kind of like live. All the practicing we did in the first part of it, we're going to put into practice. We'll be able to use short-term charts like a 2-minute and a 10-minute and a half an hour, just different, looking at it as if it was a daily, weekly, monthly time frame, so that you learn the practice, the techniques. Very exciting time to do it, because this is definitely a volatile market, and I thought it would be appropriate to be able to put into practice all these things that I've been discussing for such a long time.
And, you know, folks, we do have it up, Basil. What you do is that you go into services, and you're going to see entry and exits when trading markets, trade the markets all day, 2-part webinar with our man, Mr. Basil Chapman. You can check it out. As Basil just said, it's going to go from 9 to noon, and then 1 to 4. And
1 to 4:30.
1 to 4:30. Oh, it's even better. Okay.
But we want to close, and then we want to prepare in the next half hour what you're looking at for the next trades.
Right. And, you know, what we are going to have there, folks, is that is right in the middle of earnings season, which is so cool, because that week, what day is that on? That's on Wednesday.
That's
so
the 23rd of Wednesday.
Yeah, that's going to be a busy week, and the next week's a busy week.
And that'll probably the Fed talk at 2 o'clock that afternoon. Could be very exciting, to say the least.
He's gonna have doves all over him.
You know, tomorrow, whatever the job report is, they're going to have to ameliorate some of their talk. They're going to just have to look. You're talking about the TLT. I mean, look at this. It broke to a new recovery high.
Oh yeah, it's a major breakout, man. Yeah. It's a major breakout. Gotta love it. Listen, folks, come over to our website at TFNN. You can check out Basil's webinar, of course. Go right to newsletters also. Check out his newsletter. It comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Basil, you have a great one, safe one. Look forward to the show tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Tom. You too.
Thank you. Stay right there, folks. Come right back.
The Taz